What's up, guys? Got another unboxing for you today. This one's relatively quick, but what I have is some brand new Converse. Now, these ones, if you might have seen the logo here, are going to be a special NBA pair. Now, being a Boston Celtics fan, I chose Celtics. So what these are, before I get to it, is the NBA has recently signed with Nike, and technically Converse is owned by Nike. And so what they've done is, in addition to all of the new jerseys and that kind of thing and merch, is all now Nike rather than, I believe it was Adidas who they were using. Now everything's Nike, and so with that, they decided to release a bunch of Converse that were NBA team themed. Now, the ones that I thought were really, really cool were they had some that were made from actual NBA jerseys. I'm not really sure how all that worked, but that's what they claimed. But regardless, they were only making about 250 pairs per team. And so, of course, the Celtics sold out immediately. And the other thing about them is that they were like $250, which was a little extreme, I thought, for some shoes. That aren't even like Jordans or anything like that. You know, they're just Converse, but they were made out of actual jerseys and that kind of thing. Even still, I thought that the whole thing seemed a little expensive. But they also released a cheaper pair that I don't believe are made out of real jerseys and that kind of thing. And they're only $90 and were a lot more widely available because they didn't make a small batch. At least I assume they didn't make as small of a batch because I was able to get a pair. So let's see. The box itself, much different than any other Converse box that I've ever gotten. Usually they're black with a little brown and says Converse and that kind of thing. This has more of like a basketball look to it. Oh, man. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Hang on a second. Oh, wow. Okay. So I didn't realize this either. For people who don't really know Converse, I have like a million pairs of these. The thing about Converse is that they released this thing called the Chuck 2, which is essentially a regular Converse shoe. Let me see here. So this would be a regular Chuck. This is the one that's been around for about 100 years. And, you know, it's flimsy, that kind of thing. It's just made out of, you know, traditional, whatever the heck they call this, canvas. And then the sole on the inside is just kind of, you know, just kind of flimsy and flat. However, then they made the Chuck 2s, which are a lot less flimsy. They're like kind of leather on the inside, pleather rather. And then they actually have a Nike Lunaron on the inside, which is just a fancy word for a sole that isn't completely flat. I don't know how well the camera was going to pick that up, but it's essentially like kind of having a real tennis shoe now, rather than some people complain that Converse kind of hurt their feet and that kind of thing. But, I mean, good God. Look at these things. I don't know where the camera, or how the camera is picking it up. Hopefully good. Oh, I had the tag in the way. There we go. Look at that thing. Now, I'm not sure how well it's going to pick up certain parts of this, but they kind of tried to mimic the way that the $250 version was, where there's like all these little indents as if it is a jersey, and hopefully that's picking that up. And the other thing is that these little letters are raised as if they were on a jersey and that kind of thing. Now, the thing that was really cool about the 250 pair is that they were based on the classic white Boston jerseys. And these are based, and they've renamed them all. There is the Icon, the Statement, and the... Man, what is the third one? There's some other one, but essentially it's just home, away, and then there's like a color rush, basically, or like some sort of fancy one, kind of like how the NFL does now. And these are essentially the color rush. These are the Statement one, which is they have a white with green lettering, and then a green with white lettering, and then they have one that is green with mostly black lettering, and that would be their Statement. And so like the tongue is all black, so Celtics and that kind of thing. The bottom of the shoe is green, which is kind of nice. See how the other one looks. Okay, this is kind of cool. Let me figure out the best way to hold this. Alright, here we go. And so it kind of continues, like, they're not the same on both shoes. It kind of spells out Boston, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, I feel like I remember on the website it showing that it just said Boss on both sides, but it's kind of cool that it spells out Boston in this way. I like that. And then on the other side, it's just kind of clean. It's just got the little like white lines and that kind of thing. Both soles green. They don't say anything on the bottom. I have bought Vans before that. I got some video game ones that were Super Mario, and they were a little cheesy, a little corny. They said game on one and then over on the other, which was a little hacky, but what are you gonna do? But no, this color is fantastic. It's like a very, very nice Kelly green, classic kind of Irish color. I'm a big Notre Dame fan as well, so that's going to fit super, super well, kind of mixing with Notre Dame gear as well. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. And in the lettering, there's like kind of that texture as well. So it kind of, they more or less, made it look like a jersey was what they used to make these shoes, as they did on the more expensive pair. Like I said, these ones were $90, and then the other ones were $250. For some teams that are less popular, there was still some shoes left. I saw of the $250. I saw that the Pistons were available. Go Pistons! I'm from Michigan, so it makes sense for me to be a Pistons fan. But sorry, Pistons. I have a friend who's a huge Pistons fan, so there's that. But yeah, and I think the Charlotte Hornets, there was quite a few. Surprisingly, the Toronto Raptors had a ton, but I'm not really sure where they're at now because this was like last Friday when it launched, so I'm sure they're totally sold out at this point. But who knows? Maybe you can get some, and you better hope that you have giant feet because pretty much anything under like 14 I was seeing was sold out. I wear a 7.5. I got tiny feet, so there's that. But yeah, anything lower than like 10 to 14 I was starting to see was just immediately sold out. So if you have anything above that, you're gonna be okay. But if you have anything lower, if you're like me and you got 7.5s, you're pretty much hosed. But maybe not with the 90 pair. Now, the other thing is that for Pistons fans, and I think some other teams had this as well, they didn't release a cheaper version. They only had the $250 version that was super fancy and all that kind of thing. They didn't have a more affordable one. I know that the Bulls did, and obviously Boston did, and I want to say like the Warriors and things like that did, but yeah, some teams did not. I think even the Nets did. So there's really no rhyme or reason to it. I'm kind of hoping that they'll do a Pistons one because I'd like to get those, but but yeah, so that's them. Typically a Converse Chuck 2, not the original Chucks. The original Chucks I think are $55, and then these are usually $75, I want to say. And so then obviously with the branding and all that, it bumps it all the way up to $90. And then the 250s are just ridiculous, but that's kind of to give you a gauge of what exactly you're paying for, kind of where pricing's at and stuff like that for people that aren't overly familiar with buying Converse. Like I said, I swear I have over 20 pairs, I want to say. So, and I buy a lot of special editions as well as regular and all that kind of different things. So, it's not too untypical of Converse in general. So yeah, let me just try to get another nice close-up of these and try to see if I can get a lot of that texturing and that kind of thing. I know it's going to be kind of hard because I'm not behind the camera focusing it, but hoping I can get that pretty good. But I think they look sweet. I like them a lot. And I'm actually really, really glad that they're the Chuck 2s because, they're going to be a lot more comfortable to wear. And, if my buddy wants to play a little pickup basketball, just a stupid game of horse or something like that, it'll hurt my feet a lot less. But either way, this will just be nice for the upcoming season that I'm pretty excited about. And yeah, so if you happen to be able to pick these up, then awesome. If not, then I'm super bummed out for you, and that sucks because they're super sweet. And I think that, the thing that always drives me crazy about this is that when it is kind of rare and all that kind of thing, and they, do all these limited quantities, because I'm like, I just think it'd be sweet if any fan who wants these is able to get them. Because, the whole making things rare thing is cool, but I feel like it's starting to lose its luster, because there's so many rare video game consoles or rare clothes or rare shoes or everything's rare, it's kind of lost its meaning, you know. It's like I'll tell my friend, oh, I got this rare whatever, and they're just kind of like, okay, whatever, you know. I feel like that kind of stuff appeals to people more when they're younger, you know. You get a rare Pokemon card or Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever is popular, you know. But you know, I don't know. I just that's kind of my mini rant, because this kind of thing drives me crazy when it's rare and stuff like that. I just think that any person who's a big fan of Boston should be able to get this, because it's just awesome, and you're printing money. You know what I mean? It's just like, if you're a huge Boston fan or you know, whatever fan, a Heat fan, you're probably gonna pick these up if you wear Converse. I mean, that's just kind of the bottom line. And most basketball fans do wear Converse or just love shoes in general. So, anyways, that's kind of all I got to say about that. Have a good one, guys.